Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and you are watching TTV News with some latest events in Tay Ninh Province. And now coming to details. Ladies and gentlemen, the second session of the 15th National Assembly continued to take place via online. At this session, the National Assembly will consider and approve 2 bills and 5 draft resolutions, and consider and give opinion on 5 other bills. Besides, the National Assembly also spent a lot of time to consider socio-economic issues, state budget, supervision, and other important issues.
On October the 22nd, the third working day, the National Assembly took time to discuss the draft law on insurance business amended and the draft resolution on a number of specific mechanisms and policies on the development of provinces and cities, Hải Phòng, Nghệ An, Thanh Hóa, and Thừa Thiên Huế. The delegation of the National Assembly of Tay Ninh Province participated in the meeting via online form. The National Assembly listened to a report and a verification report of the draft law of insurance businesses amended, delivered by Finance Minister Hồ Đức Phước and Chairman of the NA Economic Committee Vũ Hồng Thanh, respectively. Then the Minister of Plan and Investment Nguyễn Chí Dũng presented the proposal. Chairman of the NA Finance and Budget Committee Nguyễn Phú Cường presented the inspection report on the draft resolution on a number of specific development mechanisms and policies of the provinces and cities as Hải Phòng, Nghệ An, Thanh Hóa, and Thừa Thiên Huế. The NA deputies then discussed in groups these resolutions. In the afternoon, the National Assembly continued to discuss a report on the management and use of the health insurance fund in 2020 and the implementation of the Resolution number 68 on promoting the implementation of policies and laws related to health insurance towards universal health insurance in 2019-2020. And ladies and gentlemen, in order to create favorable conditions in traveling and at the same time perform well the control of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Provincial Department of Transport had issued instruction for the people to meet the conditions under Decision number 4800 of the Ministry of Health, carrying provisional guidance on medical professionals to implement Resolution number 128 of the government. For the people come to Tay Ninh and return from the same day without staying, we only require testing for SARS-CoV-2, and for those who have come from pandemic areas of level 4 and 3, including those who have received the full dose of vaccines or those who have recovered, they must be tested for SARS-CoV-2 before traveling and should be valid for 72 hours. And during the travel to Tay Ninh Province must comply with the 5K messages. When arriving at the gateways of Tay Ninh, must conduct a medical declaration and scan for QR code. The testing is not required for the people traveling from level 1 and 2 pandemic areas, but these people must make a medical declaration and do a 5K messages. On the October the 21st, the Tay Ninh Provincial People's Committee issued Plan number 3676 to implement Resolution number 128 of the government in the province in order to adapt safely, flexibly, and effectively control the COVID-19 pandemic. And therefore, the people in the process of moving from Ho Chi Minh City to Tay Ninh needs to strictly comply with the regulations on the pandemic prevention of the health sector and local regulations so that the circulation can take place smoothly. Although the economic challenges are not small, when the World Bank lowered its forecast for Vietnam economic growth this year to only 2 to 2.5%, the recovery process of the economy is not small. The economy is probably starting to recover. The foundation for that recovery is that the government has just issued a Resolution number 128, temporarily regulating, safely adapting, flexibly, effectively controlling the COVID-19 pandemic with 4 pandemic levels and apply uniformly across the country. Along with that, the Ministry of Health also issues the guidelines on criteria for assessing the level of the pandemic uniformly applied to the whole country. The investors, especially the foreign investors, have responded very positively to Vietnam's relatively fast vaccination rate and the new government assurance of a new resolution on safe, flexible adaptation and effective control of the COVID-19 pandemic. In order for the economy to recover, according to the Institute of Economics, solutions need to be taken, including issuing a new support packages for businesses focusing on cutting logistics and transportation costs, but especially emphasizing the strength and needs to preserve the operation in industrial parks. In addition to the issues of macroeconomic stability, issues of institution infrastructures and human resources development, both a bottleneck and a strategic breakthrough for Vietnam economy. And they are also considered as important factors and the most fundamental to help Vietnam's economy recover.
Ladies and gentlemen, in recent years, the Tay Ninh Provincial Library has constantly innovated its service firm to improve the quality of its activity to serve readers, organizing many lively activities, rich in content and diverse in forms, has regularly attracted the interest of many readers in using the library.
In addition to enhancing the digitization of documents, propagating and introducing books to the library portal, the Provincial Library has promoted forms of online services, introduced news and good books on platforms such as website, Facebook, Zalo, YouTube, and these platforms will link together to help the readers conveniently explore information. And Director of the Library of Tay Ninh Province, Bùi Minh Tuấn, said that in order to create favorable conditions for people to have access to relevant and useful information and acknowledge, the Tay Ninh Provincial Library gradually strengthened the provision of services according to the needs of library users, meeting the learning, research, and entertainment needs of all classes of people, contributing to economic, society, and cultural development in the province, with an urgent requirement to participate in the digital transformation of the library industry. The number of users interacting and exploiting information resources is increasingly day by day. It's just a short time, and there were nearly 200,000 readers accessing the online platforms of the Provincial Library. And for the Provincial Library website alone, has more than 175,000 readers accessing to research and explore information provided by Provincial Library. Ladies and gentlemen, the COVID-19 pandemic broke out in the community, and the southern provinces as well as the Tay Ninh province had to implement social distancing. The situation was very difficult in organizing production and businesses, and the resilience continued to decline. In order to promptly remove difficulties accompanied enterprises to restore production and create momentum for development in the coming time, the Tay Ninh Provincial People's Committee has implemented many timely and effective solutions. The province has closely followed the direction of the government to focus on directing drastically and promptly manage synchronous solutions to realize the dual goals of both pandemic prevention control and economic development. At the same time, implementing policies to support people, businesses, cooperatives, and business households, besides organizing meetings with FDI enterprises to listen, share, and resolve and solve difficulties and obstacles to promote production and business. And thereby, the socio-economic situation of the province basically stable. There are many positive changes. From the beginning of the year to the middle of September 2021, the province has granted the certificates of new investment registration of 12 projects with a registered capital of over $91 million compared with the same period. One of the registered projects decreased, but at the same time, there were 18 projects just to increase the capital with additional capital of nearly $642 million, up to 183.57% over the same period. And currently, the Provincial People's Committee has issued Plan number 3676 to implement the Resolution number 128 of the government in the province in order to restore production and business activities of the enterprises, cooperatives, and businesses households, ensuring safety and also prevention and control the COVID-19 pandemic in the new situation.
Ladies and gentlemen, poverty reduction for disadvantaged woman-headed household, and disadvantaged woman is one of the most important tasks that the Women Union of Tay Ninh Province has set at all levels.
In addition to the effective use of funds from the programs and policies, the Women Union at all levels has tried to find ways to mobilize and create general capital to help disadvantaged women have a fulcrum to rise up. In the past 5 years, more than 10,000 disadvantaged women have been supported by the association at all levels from the sources such as the capital contribution and fundraising with an amount of over 55 billion Vietnam dong. The women unions at all levels continue to take advantage of capital resources and methods to help the women reduce poverty. Mrs. Nguyễn Thị Bầu is a very diligent, hardworking person and has a sense of responsibility when participating in the work of the Women Union branch of Hiệp Trường neighborhood, Hiệp Tân Worth, Hòa Thành Thảo. However, due to the family's difficult circumstances, Her job is a high worker and had to pack rice cakes for sale, and Ms. Sibau's income is quite precarious. In June of 2021, the Women's Union of Hiệp Tân World lent Ms. Sibau allowance for 4 million Vietnam dong from the funds mobilized from donors to make capital. With her hardworking, enthusiastic nature and willingness to overcome difficulties, Ms. Sibau has effectively used the given capital. She baked little glutinous rice cakes and sold them at the market in the morning. In the afternoon, she worked as a dry vendor for the cakes. And from her initial model capital, now Ms. Sibau has generated an income of about 200 to 300,000 Vietnam dong per day. In the past, when I was in need, I was always thinking about how to find capital. Now that I have this source of capital, I will help a little and also worry less. The Women's Unions of Long Thành Nam Commune, Trường Tây Commune, Long Hà Ward and Long Thành Bắc Ward of Hòa Thành Town has also a motto of directing capital to support poor women from working and selling handmade paintings. Materials for making embroidery pictures, stone painting pictures are sponsored by the women in the Women's Union who mobilize benefactors. When the number of the painting is enough, the Women's Union will open an exhibition to sell paintings. The amount of money sold through the exhibition has collected over 70 million Vietnam dong, supporting for 27 women in difficult circumstances. Although the amount of support capital is still small, but it is also one of the sources of capital for disadvantaged women to step up. It is a small amount of capital, but it is very large for me. Thanks to this capital, I can do some small business to support my family. I'm very grateful to the women who have helped her a lot from these sources, and thanks to that, I have been able to raise 2 children to attend to school until today. And at a town level Women's Union, the Hòa Thành Town Women's Union funds can be mobilized and awarded. Its seat has a slightly higher value than the commune level. The Women's Union at all levels will establish a group and models to help the women reduce poverty sustainable for their group of women, such as labor exchange groups, capital contribution groups, rotation, the teams buy household items, the team works to support the breed, and group of 3 information to support. The models help the women have capital for small production and small business, breeding or developing their industry. Since 2016 up to now, more than 10,000 of poor and disadvantaged women have been supported with the capital of production and small businesses with an amount of over 55 billion Vietnam dong, and thereby there are 2,176 households from poverty and over 25,000 members and women with stable jobs and incomes, reaching and exceeding the target of helping households out of poverty according to the annual multidimensional poverty criteria of the Union. The Women's Union of Tay Ninh Province said that in the near future, all levels of the unions will continue to promote activities to support women for economic development and sustainable poverty reduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today TTV News. Thank you for joining with us and see you next time.